Hi, third grade. Happy Thursday. It's Miss Catlett here. I've been wondering what you guys been up to this week. Me, I haven't been going outside as much as I did last week. I've been inside working on some organizing projects that I've been leaving left alone. So I finally tried to tackle some of those this week. So I hope you're doing cool things at home. I'd love to know what you're doing. I hope you're having a great week. All right, before we jump in, I just want to mention a few things. I hope that you got to take a look at the math and reading resources that were released this week. There was another math packet and another reading packet. So if you haven't, that's okay. We have them on our third grade website and the King George County website. So if you want to look at those and start working on those at home, go ahead and print those out or email one of your teachers if you need the printed version. A few shout outs for my top scholars this week. I would like to give a shout out to Sammy for working hard on IXL, Sydney for reading all those science and social studies stories on Raz Kids, and Milo for taking some time to read on Get Epic. So thank you guys so much. I'd love to see a few more of my folks get on those apps at home and continue their learning each day. So big shout out to Sammy, Sydney, and Milo because I don't think they've missed a day. They've been chugging along and getting on those apps at home every day or almost every day. So thank you very much, guys. Let's get to our joke of the day. Some of our jokes have a spring or Easter theme this week, so I wanted to continue that. My joke is, what is the best flower for a son to give his mother? Think about what you know about homophones. What is the best flower for a son to give his mother? A sunflower. So if you have any jokes that you would like us to share on here, go ahead and email those to us and we can put those on the website or mention them here on the video. Now, before I jump into Chapter 9, let's do a quick recap. Miss Jones read all of Chapter 8 for us yesterday, and I think by the end of that, Ralph and Garf had made a bargain or struck a deal. Okay, so let's see where they are in that. Now, before I get started, I want to thank Scholastic Publishing for giving us special permission to have this read aloud. Chapter 9 is called A Dangerous Plan. I can't believe we're finally at Chapter 9, the final chapter of our read aloud. So I'm going to go ahead and read part 1 today, and then Miss Mano is going to finish up Chapter 9 and give us the conclusion in part 2 tomorrow. Okay? A Dangerous Plan. I'm a failure, Ralph told himself as the bird chorus announced the dawn and a rooster crowded down by the barn. I'm a miserable, rotten failure. Ralph had returned to his perch in the bamboo after a night spent hurrying, scurrying, and worrying. Every building at Happy Acres Camp was built on ungnawable, mouse-proof concrete. Every screen door was above a cliff-like concrete step. The watch still lay hidden in the bamboo leaves. Garf would soon learn that his name was not to be cleared after all, and Ralph would not get his motorcycle back. Drat, he swore to himself. Drat, drat, drat. He felt especially bad because Garf actually had left a quarter of a peanut butter and jelly sandwich at the foot of the bamboo for his supper the night before. Ralph was about to climb down the bamboo to hide from Garf when the alarm clock rang and the buglers stumbled out to rouse the sleeping camp. Campers washed their faces at the wash basins outside their lodges, and then, before they went to breakfast, the girls carried their sleeping bags out to air. Some draped their unzipped bags on fences. Others, including Karen, spread theirs on the grass in the sun over in the girls' area. Why, here's my chance after all, thought Ralph in wonder as a plan, simple but dangerous, started to spring into his mind. After noticing that Katso was sitting expectantly by the kitchen door, waiting to be fed, Ralph leaped to the ground and found the watch under the bamboo leaves. Seizing it by the buckle on the leather strap, he began the labor of dragging the watch toward Karen's sleeping bag. The watch was heavier than Ralph had remembered. He pulled and strained and managed to tug it across the gritty path to the craft shop and into the shelter of the grass. The watch slid more easily through the grass, and Ralph soon learned to choose the smoothest way, avoiding clods of dirt and prickly weeds. The campers finished breakfast and came bursting out of the dining hall. Ralph toiled on, pulling the watch toward Karen's sleeping bag, a fraction of an inch at a time, knowing that Garth must be searching for him by the bamboo. Ralph began a long, hard detour around a fallen walnut and hoped that sometime Garth would at least know that he had tried, even if he might not succeed. Suddenly, the fur along Ralph's spine began to prickle, and he froze in his tracks. Catso! The hunter's eyes of the cat had caught the movement of the grass. Ralph crouched motionless beside the watch. Catso slunk close to the ground, moving so quietly he seemed to flow through the grass. Only the tip of his tail twitched. Ralph knew that trying to run was useless. Running would only make the hunt more interesting for Catso and prolong the misery for Ralph. Catso stopped and waggled his hindquarters experimentally as if he were trying to find the most efficient position for pouncing. Where was Lana? Ralph's life passed before his eyes. His family mouse nest back at the Mountain View Inn, his mother and Uncle Lester and all his brothers and sisters and cousins, the boy who had given him the motorcycle that had changed his life, and the cage in the craft shop. Chum, Garth. Catso crouched even lower and waggled his hindquarters once more in preparation to pounce. Ralph's eyes were distracted from Catso by Sam, who trotted purposefully across the grass. If one doesn't get me, the other will, thought Ralph, as he tried to shrink even smaller beside the watch. Surely a dog would not want to crunch a watch between his teeth. Sam growled deep in his throat. Distracted, Catso stopped waggling and glared at Sam. Get me in trouble, will ya? Growled Sam to the cat. Catso stood up, arched his back, and appeared to double in size. See here, Sam, he hissed. I'm supposed to exterminate pesky mice. Not this one, growled Sam, advancing. He belongs here, and you got me in trouble by letting him escape. Is that so? Catso hissed back as he swiped at Sam's nose with an evil-clawed paw. What about me? I'm unjustly accused of eating him. And what are you up to now? Demanded Sam, and with that question he snapped at Catso, who turned his back and with his tail proudly erect stalked off toward the craft shop before he suddenly remembered that he had not washed lately. While Catso sat grooming his toes, Cam eyed Ralph with interest. You're a busy little fellow, he remarked, not unkindly. First a motorcycle, now a wristwatch, he thought. A moment before he said, Say, where did you get that watch? You didn't happen to steal it, did you? No, you couldn't have. You're too little. That's right, I'm too little, agreed Ralph. But Catso stole it, and I'm trying to return it to its rightful owner. He told Sam the whole story, explaining why Garth could not return the watch. Sam glanced at Catso and growled, but Catso merely paused in washing his left hind foot to look disdainfully at Sam, who then said to Ralph, You're pretty little to be pulling that watch over this rough ground. Maybe I can help you out. Here, let me take it for you. Ralph trembled to see that great snout coming close. He crept away from the watch and stared, fascinated, as Sam delicately picked the leather strap in his teeth and trotted over to Karen's sleeping bag, where he dropped the watch on the flannel lining. Ralph crept closer. Thank you, Sam, he said, genuinely grateful for the big dog. It was all in line of duty, said Sam. Still, one thing bothers me. Boys don't come into the girls' area, but couldn't a boy throw a watch over here? A boy could stand on the other side of that fence and toss a watch onto a sleeping bag, so I'm not sure Garth's name will be cleared when Karen finds the watch. I never thought of that, admitted Ralph, but give me a little more time and I can take care of it. He scurried over to the watch and began to gnaw a hole into the fabric of the sleeping bag. Garth might be able to throw a watch, but he couldn't gnaw a hole. Sam settled himself with his nose on his paws to guard Ralph. Ralph used his sharp teeth so efficiently that he soon had a hole in the dry and tasteless lining. He waded into the Dacron stuffing, dragging the watch behind him. You all right in there? Asked Sam. Of course I'm all right, answered Ralph, shoving the Dacron aside to make room for the watch. The Dacron was softer than most finely shredded Kleenex, and it was softer than nylon stockings or pillow feathers or any other soft thing that Ralph had experienced at the inn. Then I'd better be on my way, said Sam. I still have the barn to inspect. Ralph popped his head out of the hole in the sleeping bag. Thanks a lot, Sam, he said. You saved my life. I really mean it. The watch band still protruded from the hole, so Ralph crawled back inside and tugged some more until he was sure it was safely out of sight. There, when Karen climbed into her sleeping bag that night, she was sure to feel a lump, investigate, and then discover her missing watch in a place where Garf could not have hidden it. The Dacron was deliciously soft, and Ralph was tired after a sleepless night. "I've got to get out of here before rest time," he told himself. But part of him answered, "Go on, take a short nap, only a minute or two. Rest time is a long way off, and you need some sleep." The Dacron was so soft and cozy, and the sounds of the camp were muffled, and Ralph was tired. The next thing Ralph knew, the sleeping bag was moving. He heard the swishing sound of a long zipper being closed, and he felt himself being lifted. Then a screen door slammed. The sleeping bag was set down, and a pair of hands smoothed it. That's where I'm going to stop here in Chapter 9. So, it seems like Ralph is now caught in the sleeping bag in the hole where he was trying to plant the watch. He got so tired he fell asleep, and now he's stuck in there, and the girls have gone back to pick him up. So, Miss Mano is going to continue reading there. We're going to see what happens if Ralph is stuck in the sleeping bag, or if he gets out, or how he and Garf can carry out their deal. So she's going to finish that up tomorrow. What I want you to do from here on out for your activity is I want you to think of multiple meaning words. So as I was reading, we kept hearing the word watch. That's a big part of our story, this missing watch. I want you to think of 4 multiple meaning words, and like I did here, the first one I picked is watch. Okay, I know that watch can be like a piece of jewelry or something you wear on your wrist that tells you the time. And watch can also mean to look closely. So for your activity, I want you to pick 4 words, okay, 4 multiple meaning words, and I want you to illustrate those here, okay? So you can just grab a sheet of paper, divide it into a 4 square like I did, and put your 4 words there and your pictures of the meanings that they have. You know, we've talked a lot about multiple meaning words and how they're different from things like homophones. So I want you to think of those words, write them down, and then draw me a little picture, okay? So that's your activity for today. Like I said, Miss Mano is going to jump on here tomorrow and finish our read aloud with part 2 of chapter 9. So I hope you guys are having a great week. I want you to get active in some way today. I'm getting ready to go exercise after this, so make sure you're staying active, getting outside and moving around a little bit, taking a break from screen time, and getting some time to read each day or look at the resources, okay? All right, see you next time, guys. Bye-bye.